Good morning, Percy. What are you doing here so early?
Reporting goods train for the quarry. Some supplies, I think.
Oh, Percy, I've been meaning to ask, why does Thomas keep teasing you about the accident you had a few months ago?
Please, don't ask.
Do you need me to,
No, Edward, it's fine.
Well, Percy, if you ever need me, I'm always free to help a friend.
I'll keep that in mind, thank you, Edward.
Sodor, an island filled with railways that is set between the Isle of Man and England, the last station on England being the terminus of Baron Finesse. There are very splendid engines that run this wonderful railway, which in fact makes this railway so special. These are the stories of the North Western Railway.
Ever since Percy's accident, Thomas and Toby have been teasing Percy. They would talk endlessly about broken bridges and high water levels. Percy, of course, did not approve of this and said they were just being very silly. This had gone on for a very long time, and Percy was just fed up with them. They wouldn't let him forget the accident he had months ago. The small green engine had raced along the line trying not to be late to avoid being teased by the big engines, but it led him to getting stuck on the bridge with Toby rescuing him and his passengers, and the bridge collapsed. It was caused by the water levels rising over the past few weeks or so, and then, when they were finally too high, the bridge became unsafe, and that led to Percy's accident. The bridge has now been repaired, but it did take a very long time. One day, Percy arrived at a junction. He was alone there for a while until Thomas came by singing his song. Once an engine named Percy became very thirsty. He crashed onto a bridge, almost came off a ridge, and was rescued by our dear friend Toby. He sung this over and over again until he was bored. Percy was very grumpy as he puffed away.
Toby, do you see her? That's enough! If you think that I'm so terrible when near water, you can take my train past the river tomorrow. Gladly, I'll show you how a proper engine does work. And with that, the engines fell asleep, very annoyed at each other. The next day, the engines woke up bright and early. Don't worry, Percy, chuckled Thomas. I'll show you how a proper engine pulls trains. And he puffed away laughing to himself. Is it odd I hope he fails? Asked Percy to himself. Slightly, said Toby. Thomas collected Percy's morning goods train and set off down the branch line. I don't know that whistle. I don't think I've ever seen you before. I'm Percy. Are you a new engine or something like that? I'm Bobby. I've been here since 1914 and built in 1904. But I thought all the E4s were scrapped. And I don't even know what your class is. Touché. Anyway, nice meeting you, Percy. Gotta get back up to Vickerstown. Goodbye, Percy called as Bobby pulled away out of sight. Well, he was nice, thought Percy to himself. Then Boko arrived with his passenger train. He was to take Percy's goods train on to Brendam. Percy assisted in shunting it, but then he would have to get back up to Farquhar. As Duck took Boko's coaches away, Percy shunted the goods train ready. Percy then left Boko so he could get down to Brendam. Boko swiftly left, and then Percy quickly ran into Knapford Yard, and then quickly marshalled and assembled a goods train, and then he took it all the way back up to Farquhar. Meanwhile, back on the branch line, the sign that said danger, damaged rails ahead was being flung around in the wild winds. Bushes were being blown across, covering the sign up. No one would know that it was there. Dust covered it, and before long, you wouldn't even notice it. The old points were weak and could easily be damaged. The wind jammed them, and soon they would be facing the wrong way. Thomas arrived at the junction, but there was no sign to tell him where to go. "Well, I suppose we better go where the points are set," said Thomas to his driver. "Yep, sounds right," said his driver, and they missed the sign. Thomas began to pick up the pace, trying not to be late, but unbeknown to him, he was going to a dead end. Then, Thomas was going over the water, over a weak track. Thomas was slightly scared. Then, he rounded a bend, sped down the track, and crashed into the river. The rail had sunk down, and Thomas had gone straight down them. "Help!" cried Thomas. Percy was at the quarry when he found out, and he forgot all that Thomas had said, and he rushed over at once. "I'm on my way," he said to the foreman. Thomas's fireman returned back to the engine. He had gone to call for help. Percy was reluctant at first, but after considering the consequences, he set to work. It wasn't long before Percy arrived, so they set to work at once by moving Thomas's trucks out the way. When Percy returned with strong chains, he pulled Thomas with all his might back onto safe land. Later, Thomas spoke to Percy. "Thank you, Percy. I really am sorry." "That's all right. Just don't tease me next time, hey?" "Yeah, agreed," chuckled Thomas. "Let's not speak about the accident I just had, hey?" The three engines chuckled as Boko took Thomas away to the works. Unfortunately, once again, Percy and Toby were running the branch line by themselves, without Thomas. But this time it would not be as long, because in a few days Thomas returned back to the branch line, and the three's friendship had never been more stronger. Both engines were very grateful, and both now know not to tease each other for their own mishaps. Thomas will never tease Percy about water now, will he? For his sake, I really do hope not.